So I'm going to move on from a base payment to 3D Secure. So we've got the form, it's more or less the same, but I'll go through the details of what's different this time. Okay, so the payment request itself is identical, apart from there's now added the option of do 3D Secure to true. Now that can be configured as default on your installation, therefore we'll attempt to do 3D Secure for every transaction. As the Explorer account gets created when you first sign up, that is set to false. So you can explicitly set it to true. But you don't yet know whether the card is actually enrolled or not. So the response to this request can be a status of successful, and the transaction's gone through without 3D Secure and it's been processed exactly as before. Or you get the response back the transaction is a status of pending, which means the customer needs to be redirected to the ACS to complete the 3D Secure process. Now that is covered well in the examples. So with 3D Secure, there we go. There's a request. And in the response, there's this current redirect information that says it needs to be redirected to the ACS for 3D Secure, get the URL of the ACS and the PAR-REC information to be sent. In order to direct the person to the ACS, you need to submit a form and send some information. So there's the PAR-REC, which we give you, MD, which is your identifier for the transaction or an identifier for the transaction, and the term URL, which is the URL to come back to after the ACS has completed. So the way that works in this integration is, so if the transaction is pending, I grab that particular information out of the response. The MD in this case, I'm just grabbing as our ID for the transaction. And then the 3D redirect page is the form pretty much as per the one we just saw, and with some JavaScript to automatically submit it. Now, when you're using our Mite test environment, there is a built-in stub ACS, which we shall see in a minute. So you can manually test the full 3D Secure process end to end. The term URL here is for the 3ds resume page here. So what we're doing is the user's been redirected to the ACS, they've typed in their password, they've been redirected back to the merchant site on that term URL, and that redirect has included the PAR-RES in the post data and the MD. And what you need to do then is send that data to us to pick up the transaction so we can send it through and complete the authorization at the acquirer. So the step then is to do a resume request. It says, this transaction that was pending, here's the information to pick it back up and carry on. And the resume request in this case is, it's the 3D Secure data, here's the PAR-RES. And then the URL is the ID of the transaction /resume to pick it back up again. And the response to the resume request is as per the response to an individual authorization request. It's exactly the same. Here's the transaction successfully processed. So let's see what that looks like. So I shall grab one of the cards that is enrolled. There we go. So this is our ACS simulator. No requirement to enter a password, just choose what the outcome you want to be is. In this case, we'll go with authorize. That then sent the resume request, the response to which has been, here's the information about the transaction fully 3D secured. So those are steps to extend the basic integration to support 3D Secure.